We're going to talk about the human aura and the aspects of the auric body. And I try to approach this from a more advanced level so that people can have a clear understanding of these things instead of airy-fairy type understanding of it. Huh? What? Yes, I did. You want to dim the lights a little bit? Can they see that? I sent it to your regular email. Yeah. Refresh. Huh?
So you connected to FIU?
No, I'm going to connect to my own. It was to your Gmail. You see it? Huh?
I don't have it.
Look at it.
It just went down.
You see it now?
Yeah, I got it.
All right.
I know, right? I was saying about that. I miss you again, Sam. I wasn't sure you were here, so.
All right, so back to this. So, yeah, I try to approach it from a more advanced point of view and a point of view to give you clarity about this. If you notice, the Earth has an atmosphere, right? Now, without that atmosphere, could we survive? We won't be able to survive, right? So it is throughout all nature, okay? Everything has an atmosphere around it. Now, the ancient yogis and mystics said this for thousands of years. And I think it was in the early 1900s, they were able to actually photograph it. They were able to photograph the aura around you. In fact, right now, you can probably Google it and you can probably find some type of equipment or procedure in order to photograph your own aura or the aura of things around you. Now, of course, there's a lot of information on this in the ancient texts, through yoga, through metaphysics, through the Theosophical Society, through the Yoga Research Society, through Psychic Research Society. There's a lot of information on it where they actually did all different type of experiments to prove that the aura was there. Of course, now, today with technology, you don't need to prove it, it's there. But mainstream science tend to look away from it unless they are doing something that's going to benefit them, probably financially or through war or something, because that's when the money comes in order to do all the research. But if we go back, if we just go to the yogi sciences, the mystics, the metaphysical mystic science, we can trace this, and this is what we're told through the teachings, that of course that each one of us is a part of the whole, right? And that the whole, we could call it God or the absolute. I like to use the word absolute. And this absolute is the whole universe and then some, you know. The universe is only a fraction of God's existence. And all of us are a part of that. And spirit, the spirit that's within us, is that divine spark of the absolute. Now, spirit is unmanifested, the same way the absolute is unmanifested. Why is it unmanifested? Because it was never manifested. It was always there. So what happens, this spirit, being a divine spark of God, and each one of us are a divine spark of God, it is a part of God. And the same way in all the Bibles across the world, and no matter what religion, it said, God spoke the word, and the word was God, and creation was formed. So the spirit actually spoke a word. And when you go back into the ancient science, you'll see that this word was described as Vak, the first spoken word or sound vibration. That's how they describe it. And this sound vibration moves out among creation, and it's called Nata in Sanskrit terminology. And this Nata is a pure, soundless sound that permeates throughout the universe and is radiated through all what they call the Mahabindus. The Mahabindus are stars or suns across the galaxy and universe. And this sound vibration is released, and in this sound vibration, it configures the energy, or what they call the Mahabhutas. The Mahabhutas is this cosmic element of energies on many, many different levels of existence, right? Now, the ancient mystic scientists, they said that this vibration occurred in 35 different configurations, and it permeates from, let's say, if we had the galaxy here, you had the center sun. It leaves the center sun and goes to all the other suns, and then those suns release that vibration to the planetary bodies within their solar system, and the planetary bodies, the logos of those planetary bodies, release another sound. You know, they repeat the sound over and over and over and over, and this is how manifestation stays into existence on many, many different levels. Now, here on Earth, the scientists say that the mystic scientists say that there are 7 major levels of existence, and there are 7 upper major levels of existence and 7 lower major levels of existence, meaning realms of existence. And each one of those realms have 7 realms to it. And each one of those 7 realms have another 7 realms, right? So it can diverse or move out into many, many different realms. Now, the vibration is absorbed from the sun and the moon. Now, our makeup of the body is brought about by the energy being pushed away from the mighty sun, right? Bouncing off of the moon and the earth, creating what the atmosphere, or feeding the aura of the earth, right? Now, they broke it up into 3 major levels so that we can kind of understand it. And you have the lunar aspect of it, right? Which have so many what they call tavic rays that flow from the sun. Then you have the sun level, the Vishnu level, which you have so many rays coming from the sun. And then you have the earth level, or what they like to call the fire level, or the fire tavic rays, right? Or the gross tavic rays. Now, there's 360 TAVIC rays that the ancient people have counted. And it probably goes with the 360 degrees of the Earth, right? Now, the first level of TAVIC rays are modified by the Mother Earth. And I think it's 118 TAVIC rays, right? I think 56 TAVIC rays go directly to the base of the spine, which is the major chakra of basic consciousness. Then the next ray goes to the, I think it goes to the sex center, which is, how many? It's about 50, the sex center is 62 TAVIC rays. And then then the next set of TAVIC rays, which is influenced by the sun, goes to the heart and the solar plexus center and the heart, which is 52 TAVIC rays each. And then you have the next set of TAVIC rays, which is influenced by the moon, which helps to create the mental world in which all of us live in, goes to the throat center and to the Christ center, or Ajna, the Ajna chakra, right? And the throat center is a total of 72 TAVIC rays, and the Christ center is a total of, I think, 64 TAVIC rays, which all comes up to 360 TAVIC rays, right? That feeds the aura. Because the first body, when the soul, when the spirit activates itself from the absolute, the first thing it does, it manifests as the soul. The soul is manifested. The spirit is not. It manifests as the soul. The soul becomes the body for the spirit, for that divine spark of God. Now, the soul, what the soul does, the soul brings about a duality, right, of itself. It becomes a twin soul. One part of the soul takes on the position of the spirit, where it becomes the background for that part of the soul that's going to go out and express itself, in a sense. It becomes static. It becomes unmovable. It becomes godlike. It takes on the persona of the spirit. And in order to do what? In order to tap into the endless potential of the absolute, of the spirit. Now, people say that, oh, well, God made everything out of nothing. No, that's not so. God pulled on itself, and God is absolute, endless potential. Everything can come from the absolute. So when God decided to take a small part of its self and bring about the universe, it activated a part of itself called the spirit. And this spirit is many, many different parts, but it's still one whole. Now, in order for spirit to move through this manifested world, it had to do the same thing. One part stillness and the other part active. And that's how it is through all creation. You always have two parts. If we want to pull on electricity for this camera, we take a plug and we put it inside a receptacle. The receptacle is stationary, the plug is movable. And now we have what? A flow of energy. So the same thing. Now, in the Hindu text, which they probably describe it better than most religions, is that they speak about the Shiva. And they describe Shiva as this godlike power. But the Shiva is absolute. It's stillness. It never moves. But Shiva does what? Releases Shakti. Shakti is that part that moves, that's in constant motion, that creates the energy, right? For all life. In fact, the Vedas say that Shakti is everything, and everything is Shakti. Okay? They further go into explain it and talk about the 4 principles of Shakti, right? And the 4 principles of Shakti is the Nani principle, which is the principle of intelligent movement, of knowledge and wisdom, right? Then they talk about the Chitta principle, which is the instrument in which the Nani is used, which is mind, a universal mind substance that engulfs the whole universe, right? And then they talk about the Prana principle, which is that thing that mind, you have the knowledge, the intelligent movement specifications, you have the universal mind. What does mind do to energy? What does mind? It molds and shapes energy. Anything that we go to do, we have to think about it first. We lay out intelligent specifications for that thing. So we create this mind substance, right? And with this mind substance, we lay out the framework in which all movement will happen. And then the energy can go into motion. The next thing, the 4th principle is mana, what the Hindus call. But if we translate it, is love. That's what it actually means. What is love? When you love something, you want to do what with it? You want to preserve it. So it's a preservational type force. So you have the knowledge or the wisdom, the intelligent configuration of all things, which falls under the divine laws of karma. Nani and karma is one. You cannot have Nani without having karma, and you cannot have karma without having Nani. Because why? Because karma is the divine laws of creation. Everything fits into a framework of laws. Everything. And then you have the mind, the universal mind, which activate those laws, which place those laws into activation through what? By using prana. And you have love, the love energy, which dictates the cycles in which the thing that you have brought into manifestation will last. Because the preservational energy is an energy that runs in cycles. Because depending on how you pull that together will depend on the time frame in which that energy configuration can stay there. Whether it's 2 minutes, 70 years, 100 years, or 200,000 years. It depends on the framework of those principles that you put around it. So from there came the Mahabhutas. And the Mahabhutas are called the cosmic elements of the universe, right? And the cosmic elements of the universe is anybody want to name them? Akasa, the first Buddha, which is etheric space, right? It brings about etheric space. Then you have Vayu, the Vayabhuta, which is which is air or locomotion. It brings about motion. Then you have the Tejas or Agni Bhutas, cosmic Bhutas, which is fire and light. And then you have the cooling factor of it all, which is Apas, or etheric water, you can say. And then you have the fifth one, which is called Pravritis, which is an etheric solid type cosmic element. And this is what the universe is made of. These are the 5 major cosmic elements. Now, if you look at a periodical chart, the first scientists who began to start the periodical chart, they had to study this ancient science, which was written down thousands upon thousands of years ago. All right, and because in the periodical chart, you have your energies, you have your liquids, you have your solids, you have your gaseous materials. It's the same thing. And what they do, they begin to break up the radiation type elements from the gaseous type elements, the liquid type elements, the fiery type elements, and the solid type elements. They break all these things up and talk about the different aspects that they find within it. So it is these Mahabhutas are transmitted with sound, with the nata, through the Mahabindus, which are the suns and the planets throughout the galaxy and solar system. All right, and it is coming back to Earth. You have this sound, which is released from the mighty sun, which goes out, and this sound is a subtle sound. You cannot hear it with your physical ear. It comes out, and when the sound is released, it is modified by the Tavic rays, which are what I like to call the intelligent signals of God, because it's a mode of vibration that shape and mold this energy of this Shakti energy of intelligence, mind, and prana, and preservative energy. And it goes out in the form of akasa, because akasa is a carrying agent for the energies. And when it surrounds, the first thing akasa does when it hit the earth, it surrounds the earth. Akasa is a blue type of energy. And the ancients say that's why when you look up into the day sky, you see blue, because that's the akasa. And within the akasa comes all the other energies and the Tavic rays. And these Tavic rays create the environment we're in. Now, each chakra of the body is a level of consciousness. And each one of us live primarily on one of those levels of consciousness. I would say that the human race right now is operating between the base chakra and the sex chakra and the solar plexus chakra. That's where we exist mostly. Some of us go up to the heart chakra level of consciousness, but very few. And if you look around and you see all the inventions we made, it makes sense. Because the base chakra is of course a chakra of solid, of physical gross things. The sex chakra, of course, is a wandering energy. The energy that runs through the sex chakra actually is called Vyana energy, or Vyana prana, and it circulates the whole body. It's constantly moving, you know, and it is these two chakras that where the subconscious mind is predominant at, of course. So majority of us are walking around in an unconscious state of existence. We only focus in on our own life. We don't see and we don't connect to most other people's lives. You know, we're not the real good Samaritan the way we report to be. Because if we did, there would be no hunger. Everyone on earth will have enough drinking water. There would be no wars. But because of our selfishness, because of our self-consciousness, just thinking about ourselves, we leave everybody to defend for themselves. Okay, majority of us do. So it's real evidence that we live on this level. Also, everything that we invent it has this sexual type energy to it. And along with the solar plexus center, everything that we build, what do? We take an element, we break it down, right? And then we build it back up into what we want. See? And that's what the solar plexus center energy does. It takes in, because if you look at the organs around the solar plexus center, what happens to those? We pull food down into the stomach. The stomach use the enzymes to do what? To break it up, right? And it push it down through the duodenum into the small intestines, and then it further breaks it up. And then you have these little capillaries that pull the nutrients out of it, and then it pushes it to the what? To the larger intestines, and then it comes out as waste. It have to destroy something in order to take the nutrients out of it, right? And those are the three levels. And everything that we do, that's why it's so hard for us to use this renewable energy and to wrap our heads around the renewable energy, because we live on those three basic planes, you know, of existence. Each level of chakra is a level of consciousness that we live on. Okay. Now the chakras below the base of the spine is the chakras that is the level of consciousness that the animal life lives on, and maybe the plant life, maybe some of the plant life lives on. But man lives above the base of the spine and above his levels of consciousness. Now, as I told you in the beginning, it takes this energy in, and this energy feeds the aura or the auric body. And the auric body keeps the mental body alive. It keeps the etheric body alive. It keeps the energy flow, the energy bodies alive that interplays with all the bodies. It keeps the astral body alive, and it keeps your physical body alive. All these are different aspects of yourself. And this aura around you that's created from all the cosmic energies that flows through the galaxy, through the mighty sun to yourself, it goes through these vortex centers, which are chakras. And that's how you sustain yourself. The auric body is the body of the soul. The same way the spirit created the soul to express itself, the soul created the auric body in order to express itself through involution and evolution. Okay? So the auric body is indestructible. It lasts for millions upon millions of lifetimes. It carries the soul, that aspect of the soul, through all its reincarnations up until it modifies itself as it takes on and takes on other aspects of itself and grow, right, through evolution. The major modification of the auric body happens at ascension, like the ascension that Jesus went through publicly, in a sense. Jesus was crucified on the cross. He allowed the people to crucify him because he knew his aim and object. But previously, he told them that what he would do. What he tell them he would do. He would rebuild the body in 3 days and walk among them. So he was a master of yoga. He was a mystic. He was a great messiah. So what did he do? He allowed them comically to kill him, right? So that he can bring about a karmic manipulation. And once they killed the body, he stepped out of the body and he rebuilt the body using the auric energy that was available for him. And because he was a master and he was operating at a Christ level, right, of consciousness, the Christ level of consciousness is the command center. It is the command center of all the energies. It regulates under the law of God how those energies will be dispersed and what cycles they will take. So at that level, he was like a God among us. So what did he do? He broke down the body and rebuilt the body to a risen body, right? A body of ascended masters. He stepped back into the body and then he walked among man, showing them that death, the so-called myth of death, had nothing on him because he had raised above it. He knew how to do that. He was not the only one to do that. There's many reports throughout history of these prophets and messiahs coming back from the dead, rebuilding their body into an ascended body. And that's one of the main times that the auric body is reconfigured on a massive level. Other than that, it just slowly, gradually moves through reincarnation over and over and over, deleting, building on, deleting, building on, deleting, building on, until the consciousness of man can be fully experienced within that auric envelope. Okay? Until the conscious of man can be fully experienced. How is this done? It's done through man gaining control over the primary energy within the auric body. And that primary energy within the auric body is the Kundalini energy. If you ever heard of Kundalini, that's what Kundalini is. In fact, one of the most accurate definitions that I think is for Kundalini is the vehicle of consciousness for the soul. Kundalini is the vehicle of consciousness for the soul. If you can stand reading a book called The Serpent Power by Arthur Avalon, it's a very difficult book. Is I think every 10th word or 15th word is Sanskrit. and then you have to go look up an explanation for it. But it's a good depiction of this Kundalini energy. Now, when the soul was building the auric body, what did the soul do? The soul called on the energies of the Mahabindus, right? Which is the mighty suns of the galaxy. It called on these energies, and it surrounded the aspect of its self with this energy. And then it took the energy, it took this cosmic Shakti energy and concentrated a part of it. Now, with every body of energy, there's what the scientists call now a God particle, right? But what we called it is a Brahmanati. There's a Brahmanati, in other words, there's a flow of God-like energy within that body of energy, right? So what the soul did, the soul pulled the energy together and located that Brahmanati and concentrated this Shakti energy and concentrated it into what's called a Shakti consciousness, an energy formatted, calibrated to hold consciousness, right? This consciousness is an all-seeing, all-awareness consciousness within this world. And that's what the soul did. And the soul pushed this energy down this Brahmanati. Now the Brahmanati is always encased in 3 different layers, right? And the main layer is the Sushumna. There's no way to translate it in English, except for that it's a flow of this concentrated level of consciousness where all energies within Sushumna is perfectly balanced. It's perfectly balanced. And the layers of it is just a protection for the Brahmanati of this balanced energy. This is when the negative energy, the positive energy, and the neutral energy runs in one and brings about a flow of absolute consciousness, of supreme consciousness. So this energy is pushed down through the Brahmanati, and it's there in the Brahmanati where all species, at least living on this earth, have its spinal cord. It's formed around it. So that's why the Hindus, the Buddhists, all mystics run back to the spinal cord, because they know that within the spinal cord is the Brahmanati, is the all-awareness. And even scientists today say that if you touch something and this thing is cold, hot, or whatever, what happens first? Of course, your fingertips have some type of sensory awareness within it. The signal is sent where? It's sent from the arm, down the spine, and up the spine, and give a signal to the brain. Now, of course, the ancient people said this thousands upon thousands of years ago. That's where consciousness is experienced. All your senses are connected to the spine. All your awareness, your conscious awareness is connected to the spine, because the Brahmanati is there. And Nati means flow of energy, okay? Brahma, this Brahmanati is a flow of energy of Shakti consciousness. It is the consciousness, it is the original consciousness of the soul. Because remember, the soul is above consciousness. The soul is all aware. The soul is an aspect of what? Of the spirit. Spirit created soul, soul created consciousness. Now I know in a lot of texts they reference this cosmic consciousness, but they never reference it, or they shouldn't, about the spirit, because the spirit is above consciousness. The soul is above consciousness. Consciousness actually means limitation. That's what consciousness is a limitation. So now Shakti consciousness, the Shakti consciousness is a limitation only to the soul and spirit, but it has superior awareness of the environment in which it's in, which is manifestation. Okay? So this Shakti consciousness is pushed all the way down the spine, and it is there that the ancients tell us that when it reaches the base of the spine, the pressures, the karmic pressures, the divine laws that is there at the base of the spine force this energy into what's called a 3.5 knot, which brings about Kundalini. The 3.5 knot is this 3.5 knot energy configuration is Kundalini. Now, what does this, when it goes into 3.5 knot, what does it do? It brings about a Shiva state of existence. It brings about another duality, as the soul did when it left the spirit. So now you have over 90% of this consciousness, of this Kundalini power, which is a vehicle of consciousness for the soul, over 90% goes into a Shiva state of consciousness, which is a dormant state. And that's what you will hear about Kundalini. They say this dormant power at the base of the spine, but that's why it's dormant. And now self-consciousness is brought about at that state, at that level. So we are ignorant of our greater power, of our greater awareness, which is the all-aware state of consciousness. Now, when this 3.5 knot is formed, it blocks the door to Shushumna. It blocks the passageway in which it got there. So the only way that we can enter that is through a series of correct action, predetermined action. And we're given that in the yogas. Okay? The yoga, the correct meaning of yoga is union with God. It's to bring about a union with God. So in the yoga, you have 11 or 12 major yogas that's used to bring this about. Now, the method in which to bring it about, you use the 8 limbs of yoga to bring that awareness about. The 12 yogas are Jnana Yoga, which is the yoga of wisdom; Karma Yoga, which is the yoga of laws and action, right? Then you have Bhakti Yoga, which is the yoga of devotion to the absolute, to God. You have Hatha Yoga, which is the yoga of physical well-being, and then you have the Pranayama Yoga, which is the yoga of breath, controlled breath. Then you have Raja Yoga, which is the yoga of mental development. And you have Kriya Yoga, which is the yoga of action, of divine action. You create a level of a series of actions throughout your daily life to accept all the other yogas, in other words. And then you have mantra yoga, and you have mudra yoga. Mantra yoga is the yoga of sound vibration, of directing energy through speech, and through thought, and through psychic energy. That's what mantra yoga is. Then you have the yoga of mudra, which comes from the yoga of mantra. And the yoga of mudra is the yoga of hand signs and correct posture and bhantis, where it's kind of a form of hatha yoga, where you twist your body up in all the different levels. But the main reason for doing mudra yoga is to bring about what's called a seat of power. You position your body in order to push power in a certain direction. Because mudra yoga, it redirects and redistributes the cosmic energies throughout the body. That's what it does. Throughout the auric envelope, which is very important, because you can position yourself and chant a particular mantra, and the cosmic energies will directly flow through the auric body and distribute itself where it's needed. That's why you sit in meditation. That's why you chant. In order to, in the ancient, the way they would say it in ancient times, in order to burn up your negative sins, in other words. Because what do? You tuck out in your daily, and during the day, you may sin 200 to 300 times. But if you take out 20 minutes, an hour or two, and you chant the holy words of God, you position yourself in a certain position, you do not move, and you focus all your mind there. What happens, it puts you into a frame of mind where, because number one, the energies in the body responds to the ancient Sanskrit mantras. So what does it do? It spins the aura. And if you ever seen a centrifuge, if you take a vial of blood and put it in a centrifuge, what happens to it? It splits up, right? The solids fall to the base. So the same thing happens when you chant this mantra. Your aura begins to spin, and it throws off the negative thought forms that formulate within the auric body, which do you harm in time. These thought forms are thrown up or burnt up by the velocity of the aura, and you come out and you feel pure, and you have a different frame of mind. So now, for the next several hours, you probably won't do the negative things that you did all the other days, and you probably won't have the negative thoughts. So it builds a momentum of positive awareness, and that's why the so-called meditation that people practice today, that's why it works. They don't understand why, but that's why it works. But of course, most people do it wrong, but just doing part of it right helps, because it centers the mind and it stops you from your normal day-to-day negativity by focusing in on higher principles of God or higher principles of yourself. So that's mudra yoga. Then you have tantra yoga. What does tantra yoga do? Tantra yoga takes all the yogas and loom them together in order to do what? In order to wake up the power of Kundalini within the lower, the base of the spine. Tantra yoga uses Jnana yoga, Karma yoga, Bhatha yoga, pranayama, Raja yoga, mantra yoga, mudra yoga, and cryo yoga as one system in order to wake up this Kundalini power. And using that in one system, it knocks at the door of Kundalini until this Kundalini power, until number one, the 5 to maybe 8% of Kundalini that's already flowing through the body, because you cannot walk, you cannot think, you cannot blink an eye without using the power of Kundalini. But that's the Kundalini that was left moving around in the auric body. But what it does, it teaches you to move all this energy in the auric body and bring it down to the base of the spine, and it becomes a key in order to unlock the 90%, the over 90% of Kundalini that's locked up. And when that happens, the Kundalini flows through Sushumna, it flows back through Sushumna, and you have an awakening at that point. You go into a conscious state of death. Because why? Because now you have entered the realms of the gods. And with that energy, you open up each chakra fully, and you take in all the energy that's available at that level. You have this God-like awareness at each level as you move. If you're strong enough, if you have prepared yourself to move the energy up to several levels, then you will see several levels. If you only prepare yourself to move the energy to the next level, that's all you will see. But you keep trying until you can move the energy up and down the spine. And essentially, that's the only reason why we're here. The last yoga, because you have Tantra yoga, then Kundalini yoga, and the last yoga I just described is layer yoga. Layer yoga is where you bring about a dissolution of consciousness. And that's moving the energy from one level to the next level to the next level. And all of this is done in order to enhance the auric body. That's what the auric body is about. We have this aura around us with this tremendous cosmic energy that we cannot tap into. It has an interchange of energy with God on a daily basis that escape us. Because why? We have not used the methods that was given to us thousands upon thousands of years ago. And they're right here. I didn't go over the 8 limbs of yoga. The 8 limbs of yoga is yama, control, niyama, which is, niyama is the observance of God, making God a part of every action. Yama is the control of thoughts and actions. Yama is spelled Y-A-M-A. And it's called, and it is the control of thoughts and actions. Niyama is spelled N-I-Y-A-M-A. And that is observing God in all actions, in all your actions once you control them. And then the third limb is asana, which is really a mudra. That's spelled A-S-A-N-A. And that is the seats of power, recognizing the seats of power, which is all the yoga positions that's, and I forget how many yoga positions there is. I think it's 192 or something. But it's all the yoga positions, and mudra, which includes hand signs as well. Then you have pranayama. Pranayama, prana, of course, means absolute power. Yama means control. You have pranayama where you begin to control the breath, because in pranayama, all the energy flows through 3 major channels in the body, to make it simple. And that's the Ida, which is a mental flow of energy, and Pingala, which is a vital flow of energy. And then you have Sushumna, which is Ida and Pingala moving in one direction. Now, throughout the body, these, and it's called Ida Nati or Pingala Natis, and These Ida and Pingala Natis are pathways of energy, mental energy and vital energy. And this mental energy and vital energy, it creates 242,000 pathways within the body. Now, of course, the mystics say that these are the pathways that the nervous system and the circulatory system was built upon. Now, that's what makes the nadi pathways, the subtle nadi pathways, is the thing that makes the auric body as one. Okay? So, and then the next one is, after pranayama, is pratyahara. Pratyahara is the ability to go within, is to withdraw your senses, to withdraw your consciousness from your outer senses, right? That's the fifth limb of yoga, pratyahara. And then from there comes the sixth limb, which is concentration. Concentration is being able to focus the mind down one channel, undisturbed, without any flucture of mind, without wandering back and forth. You just think about one thing for as long as you can. That's concentration. Now, once you learn concentration and can focus on one thing for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, what happens comes contemplation, which is the seventh limb. And in contemplation, while focusing your mind on one thing, what happens is that you tap into a new information about that thing that you've been focusing on. And what happens, that's where so-called psychic powers come from. That you can concentrate on this so much that you begin to, number one, see the aura of that thing. Number two, see the energy or the mental messages going in and out of that thing. And you can begin to read it, right? And that takes you into samyamas. You begin to, once you can do that, you can perform a samyama on something. That means you can read that thing. You can read the physical part of that thing, the astral part of that thing, the etheric part of that thing. So you can see things that other people can't see. Now, from contemplation comes the final limb, which is meditation. And some people like to say samadhi, but it's really meditation, and then there's layers of meditation. Meditation is when you concentrate on something so hard, so long, that you go into a contemplation, which you begin to see the many realms of existence of that thing. And then in your meditation, your consciousness goes into that thing and you become one with it. And now you can experience what that thing is experiencing. That's meditation. That's true meditation. And at that point, in that meditation, if you do that meditation long enough, you move into a samadhi level of that meditation. And then in the samadhi level, you can see many, many things. You can go deep, deep down into that thing. And then from the samadhi level, you move into a cosmic conscious level, where you see how that thing is connected to the earth, to the law, to the sun, to the solar system, to the galaxy, in a cosmic meditation. So those are the 8 limbs of yoga. I hope I didn't confuse you. I decided if I went through the slide, you would have fell asleep a long time ago. But that's like the introduction to this. That's the basis of the aura. Now, there's many other aspects of the aura that we can go over next week, where you go into the reading of the aura, the colors of the aura, and how it all transmit, and how interfere with our lives and what we can do to enhance it and all of that. Any questions?
You said the souls of both consciousness. Does that apply to both aspects of the twin soul? The twin soul that's used to experience consciousness, even that part of it is?
Yeah, yeah. That applies to both levels, to both twin soul. Because remember, the twin soul is still a part of the stagnant soul, the divine soul, the soul that stays in one position. It's still a part of it, right? And it existed before consciousness existed. You see?
Is there one static soul, and then the other aspect is what differentiates between the different levels of consciousness throughout creation?
Well, of course, because what the soul did, the soul brought about the duality. In other words, there was one soul which was the counterpart of well, not the counterpart, but it was the body of the spirit. And then that soul, giving its divine directives, had to create a twin soul in order to move through evolution and then evolution. You understand? Because it had to, because that's the law. And in fact, with everything, and in order to measure something, you need something stable, and then you need something moving, right? Even life is a series of radiations. You have to determine what the background of radiation is before you can read the radiation of the life. You know, when you study science, you know, that's just a law. So you always have these twin souls, you know, on each level. You understand? You know, the whole soulmate thing is real. The thing that's not understood is that your soulmate is you. It's just another aspect of you gaining knowledge, moving through creation. You know, moving through incarnation, one reincarnation after another.
Maybe in a different body, but it's
in a whole different body, in a whole different body. So what happens is that especially when we find ourselves, what karmic law dictates that, let's say if someone came to tremendous power, let's say somebody like Hitler, and they did everything wrong with that power, right? Hitler did. So now God, nothing's wiped out of creation. No. What a person like that, what happened to him is that when they die, because of their own action and because of what they did to themselves, their consciousness is split up into many, many different parts. And then they're entered back into the wheel of reincarnation, but they enter back as 300 people, 400 people, or 4,000 people. And they will not be allowed to come back as one consciousness until they have learned never to do what they did before. The energy cannot merge back. That person cannot merge back to what they were.
so all the power is dissipated.
All the power is dissipated into different parts until they learn their lesson. Now, as they learn their lessons, they'll come back together, life after life after life after life after life, until they know never to do that again. So, but that's your soulmates. That's your soulmates. All of us are soulmates at one point. The logos of this earth is a combination of many life forms that have went through probably billions of lifetimes, you know, and and then they merge together in order to do the ultimate service, is become the life force for trillions of life forms here on Earth. There's trillions of life forms here on Earth. When you look at the insects, the plant life, the cell life, it's trillions. When you look at all the other realms of existence of this Earth, there's many, many life forms. So that's what a soulmate is. You graduate through life. So it's always a twin soul. There's always twin souls. That's always happening. All right. Yeah.
How can you get into the mudra?
How can you do what?
Get into the mudra.
Well, there's many mudras. There's many open mudras known. Do you know any yoga positions?
Yeah.
That's a mudra. Do you know positions, mystic hand signs, that goes with the mudra? Like when they sit there and they go like this, that's a mudra. Now each finger represents a particular energy flow. All right? This is a gross energy flow. Right? It represents, remember I was talking about the Mahabhutas, the cosmic elements? This is the solid energy flow. This is the apas, which is the water energy flow. This, which is the longest finger in the hand, this is the fire. A flame flames up, that's the fire. This right here is this air. This finger next to fire. And this is etheric space or sound here, the pinky. Now, based on that, the mudra is done to control the energy flow. Of course, this is connected to the base chakra. This is connected to the sex chakra. This is connected to the solar plexus chakra. This is connected to the heart chakra. And this is connected to the throat chakra. All right? So based on that, you manipulate energy. But majority of the times, if you chant mantra, if you're initiating, you have to be initiated into mantra. If you're initiated into mantra and you chant mantra for a long time, mudras come to you. And you're able to manipulate the energy according to the visions or the mudras that's given to you. And even if the mudra had been given to you before, you can begin to feel and see the energy flow and why it works through the mudra. Through the chanting of the mantra. Because mantra and mudra is connected in that way. Because mantra, what it does, it circulates the energy, it pushes the aura around the body and circulate the energy, and you begin to feel the flow of energy. You begin to feel the flow of consciousness within you when you properly chant mantra. Okay? So that's what the mudras are. There's several books. Some of them get it right and some of them get it wrong. Well, a lot more get it wrong than right. But there are a lot of books on mudra, on the different mudra. Satananda, a student of Sivananda, he has a book, I think it's on our website too, on mudras. You can look at that. It gives you a whole list of mudras and bantas that you can use in order to help yourself. Is there any other questions?
Is there a certain type of yoga that can help you reach unity with God without having to go through many lifetimes?
Well, unfortunately, we're dealt whatever we dealt. I mean, all the yogas are one yoga. And Tantra yoga teaches you that although you can become an expert at Raja Yoga, within Raja Yoga is all the other yogas, you know. So there's no, there's no real express train, except some people like to say, well, Kundalini is the express train. But how can you do Kundalini Yoga without the other yogas? Because you have to incorporate pranayama in Kundalini Yoga. You have to incorporate Raja Yoga in Kundalini Yoga. You know, you have to, if you're doing Kundalini right, you have to have Nani and Bhatha Yoga. Because one of the things in Kundalini Yoga is that you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do, you say a prayer to Kundalini. You know, to the God-like consciousness within the body in order to connect yourself with it. That's one of the first practices they teach you in Kundalini Yoga when you begin to practice Kundalini Yoga. So it's all yogas are intertwined into one another. You know, even when you think you're becoming an expert in one, you also become an expert in several other yogas as well. So, and you know, don't seek power. Let power seek you. You know, you seek power, you're probably seeking power for all the wrong reasons. You know, you have to gain control over your thoughts, over your actions, and you have to, you know, you have to surrender yourself to a higher power in order to do the right thing. Because the right thing is not serving ourselves, it's serving everyone else. The mighty sun is a god. The sun is a god. And the sun does what? It serves 24/7. You know, so the same thing with the earth. The earth is a god in its own right. And it gives life to all of us. You know.
So if you have to surrender to gain power, then all the people like Hitler who got power, they ended up surrendering?
No, that's why the consciousness was split up.
But in this physical realm, they still had power.
They had power for a very limited time, and they caused a reaction upon themselves that took them out for many lifetimes.
Yeah, but they still have, because I know you said don't seek power.
You could seek power, but that doesn't mean that it's right. You know, everyone's given the free will to do what they want to do. You can go out in this room right now and kill 20 people. But the reaction to that will be what? That you brought great limitations upon yourself. You understand? You brought tremendous limitation upon yourself. For lifetimes. For lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. That you have hindered yourself. So you know, that to follow the law is the laws of God. To always try to do right, to think right and act right. And within yourself, you know what that is. No one really has to tell you that. You may think they do. But if you curb all your thoughts to doing the right thing, and then acting upon that right thing, then you will only learn how to do more right and think in the right way more and more and more and more and more. You know, and then the question is, was the power, did Hitler really have power? Or did he have great limitations that he constantly placed on himself in the, you know, that looked it like power? See? Because if you truly have power, then that power will stay with you. You know, but only thing he was doing was digging a ditch for himself, as many people do all around us. Because why? Because if you look at the greatest things in nature, it has this great power that is always given away. It's always serving, it's always given to the next person. And it seems like they have an abundance of it, right? Throughout God's creation. You know, those things that take away from us, it only lasts for what, a short period of time. You know, it's not constant. Or it might be in cycles, but it's not constant. And each time it comes about from a different way because of something that we did. You know, it's something that we did that reacted something to come against life. It's not necessarily something that life have given to us. So it's, you know, study the law of karma. The law of karma, in simple terms, as Jesus said, as you sow, so shall you reap. In a more scientific term, in which Buddha said, action and reaction is opposite but is equal. You know, so I mean, you do a meditation on that, you'll see how this play itself out over and over and over again. You know, to seek power under the wrong conditions is wrong. You know, you have to predetermine your actions. Intent is the magic of something. If you had a wrong intent, then all the wrong things going to come from it. And we don't even have to really think about that too much. The only thing we do is look around in our world today. You know, we look around in our world today and we see people with all the wrong intent. It brings about all the wrong things, and thousands and hundreds of people have to suffer because of that wrong intent. You know.
What are your thoughts on Yogananda and his movement and the yoga he brought to the West?
I agree with Paramahansa Yogananda. I mean, I studied his teachings as a child. He did a lot of teachings on Kriya Yoga, which Kriya Yoga is, there again, using all the other yogas in some type of divine action towards God. You know, so he was the one who was credited to bringing Kriya Yoga to the West, which his master was a great master, a master of masters, Sri Yukteswar. And then Sri Yukteswar's master was a Bodhisattva, which was Lahamara. So he, in fact, he was a student of the Lord Babaji, which they were, you know, and it was Lahiri Mase that told Sri Yukteswar that a student will come to you and you must teach him, prepare him to go to the West. And he did that before Paramahansa Yogananda, I think, was even born. So, and he recognized Paramahansa Yogananda when he came to him. And that's why he sent him to college and told him to prepare himself to come to the West, to give the teachings of Lahiri Mase and Sri Yukteswar. So yeah, I believe in his teachings. I think a lot of people don't interpret his teachings properly, but he did a good job in his books, his most popular books, The Autobiography of a Yogi, How to Talk to God. In fact, in the book How to Talk to God, he goes into the science of Mudra Yoga a little bit too. He did another book, Metaphysical Meditations. He did another book, I think Whispers of Into Eternity, which is really good too. I think his master did a book. No, what was the name of his master's book, Sri Yukteswar? You remember? I can't remember. Was it the Science? Science, yeah, something like that, which was pretty good too. So, but yes, I believe in Paramahansa Yogananda. If there's no more questions, then we can close out. We usually say a prayer when we get ready to close out. We use a mudra to say the prayer. And the mudra is where we face the east. And we face the east and we breathe in and out in order to get a regulation of energy. The east is this way. The east is this way. When you breathe in, this is Pingala, this is Ita. That's where you breathe in the energy at, the subtle energies. And the energies come in and it's regulated through your breath. So you get a good rhythm of breath. And then when you get ready to do that, you use this mudra right here, where you put the thumbs in like this. Now this is a Kundalini mudra. It increases the Kundalini within the body. And then you breathe in and out on a rhythm to make sure that the in breath equals the out breath. And then once you do that a couple times, you can slightly hold your breath and then let go and then do it again. That'll increase the energy within the body because you bring in you turn it on and turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. And then when you get ready to pray, you hold your hands up like this or like this. And what this does, it activates the heart chakra to allow a free flow of energy to come through the palms of the hand and the fingertips. It allows the energy to flow up through the heart chakra and through the palms of your hands and the fingertips. And then the voice activates or impregnates the energy that's flowing out of your body. The prayer impregnates that energy. In other words, it laced that energy with a certain direction and DNA, and then that energy goes out. And with the force of the love that you put into that prayer, which laces the energy, that determines how powerful that energy will go leaving the body. And at the same time while you're praying, you imagine that a brilliant white light is coming down, or violet light, whichever one you want to use, is coming down through you and being radiated out from your heart chakra. And that's the only chakra that you can actually have a slight concentration on without hurting yourself. So, and then afterwards, when you finish the prayer, you have to cut the energy off with this mudra right here. If not, you'll drain your body of energy for the rest of the day. So you always make sure you do this right here, and then you whisper to yourself so that no one behind you can hear, no one beside you or behind you can hear you. So it is done. Because you lace the energy, you give the body command, say that this process is over with, so it is done. Okay? And that's the mudra and practice of prayer. Go ahead, do it. Here, take the microphone.
The New Lord's Prayer. O divine and wondrous Spirit, O everlasting Lord of hosts, send forth now through me thy great and lasting power. Allow me, Almighty God, the lasting privilege of radiating to all the world thy great love, so that those who suffer may be given the power and energy to rise above their weaknesses. Almighty God, in great humility do I ask you to send forth your power, to give to me this great lasting privilege of being a channel, so that my suffering brothers may be helped and guided and healed and lifted into thy light, so that they who know not may look up and in doing so receive through their higher selves your divine counsel. Almighty God, this day have you granted me a divine privilege. I ask you now to give to me the strength so that never again will I turn from my inner vision of you. Oh, great peace, great peace, great peace. In praise of your greatness, O God, doth my soul sing, granted energy to sing on forever and forever. Thank you for watching. We'll see you all next week, Sunday.